you, Senator Faruqi. Senator Roberts.
Thank you. As a servant to the people of Queensland and Australia, I now bring you up to date with the fraudulent behaviour that's resulted in huge wage theft and stripping of entitlements from Hunter Valley coal miners and from Central Queensland coal miners. You may recall from my many previous Senate speeches on this topic that on 14th of April 2015, Labor hire company Chandler McLeod Group, in collusion with the Hunter Valley CFMEU, submitted an enterprise agreement to the Fair Work Commission for approval. The Fair Work Commission went on to approve the enterprise agreement, even though the agreement did not pass the boot assessment and contained false and misleading statutory declarations from the employer Chandler McLeod and the Hunter CFMEU's Mr Shane Thompson. The effect of the enterprise agreement was to strip protections of the Black Coal Mining Industry Award from the coal miners, pay them significantly less than the award, and remove entitlements including workers' compensation and accident pay, annual leave, long service, superannuation, sick leave and holiday pay. The miners were not compensated with a loading to their pay rates, and they were much worse off under the enterprise agreement than under the award. The Black Coal Mining Industry Award did not authorise the use of casuals in the production side of coal mining. The enterprise agreement was contrary to this limitation under the award. The Fair Work Commission accepts, indeed confirms, that an enterprise agreement cannot provide conditions less than the award. Yet this enterprise agreement did exactly that. At a meeting held on 13th of April 2015, the Hunter CFMEU agreed with employers Chandler McLeod Group, quote, "The CFMEU would agree to cease from any current and future actions and claims in its own right or on behalf of members directed towards ventilating and agitating its view that employees currently engaged by Chandler McLeod companies as casuals to perform black coal mining production work may be entitled to leave and other entitlements associated with permanent employment, or that Chandler McLeod is not paying employees their lawful terms and conditions." It's the end of the quote. This letter, of which we hold a copy, is damning as to the sickening deal that the Hunter CFMEU made with Chandler McLeod Group to not represent the interests of the member miners, who were now to be dudded of their entitlements and protections and have their wages stolen. Injured miner Mr Simon Turner has been fighting for his entitlements since he was injured in the mine, almost 9 years ago, smashing his back and being denied his rightful compensation, making Simon totally and permanently disabled for life. It's now very clear that the Hunter CFMEU, in cahoots with the employer Chandler McLeod Group, together with an incompetent or possibly dishonest Fair Work Commission, have denied the back payment of all black coal entitlements for all full-time employees, and then doubled down on these actions in endorsing an enterprise agreement that removed the legal minimum statutory requirements. Now, in order to endorse an enterprise agreement, the agreement must first pass the Fair Work Commission's Better Off Overall test, or as it's known, the boot test. Mr Turner has always argued in his case this test could not possibly have been satisfied. He's right. Evidence from the Fair Work Commission itself has recently emerged that proves this test was never applied to the enterprise agreement, stealing from Mr Turner and hundreds of casual coal miners employed at BHP's Mount Arthur mine in the Hunter Valley. In relation to requests for documents pertaining to the Chandler McLeod Northern District of New South Wales Black Coal Mining Agreement 2015 and Chandler McLeod Gunnedah Basin Coal Mining Agreement 2014, a note from the Fair Work Commission says, quote, "I have checked both matters and they do not contain the boot assessment. It appears a boot assessment was not undertaken for either matter. If one was undertaken, a copy of the assessment would be on file." The note's author goes on, "has provided you with a complete copy of both files. There is no other documentation or further information we can provide you for these two matters." End of quote. This is damning information. If the enterprise agreement was entered without a boot assessment, it could not possibly pass the boot test and should be considered void. This whole exercise needs to be reviewed so Mr Turner and other coal miners can finally receive their lawful, moral and fair entitlements and compensation. Despite obstructions and misrepresentation from Labor and the LNP governments, we have persisted with this issue for 4 years. We will continue relentlessly until Simon Turner and fellow Hunter Valley and Central Queensland coal miners obtain their entitlements and justice. We in One Nation support workers because, like our party's founder, Pauline Hanson, we value honesty, fairness and justice, and Australians' values, including mateship and a fair go.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.